Hi, I'm Heyzeus, and this is a video on people getting publicly exposed for doing some not very smart and not very legal things. Sponsored by swap.gg, a site where you can trade skins, which I'm sure doesn't shock anyone given the picture on screen. Now, I made a video on the M4A4 Howl and the Howling Dawn art theft recently, and it was an unusual video. It very quickly got sidetracked on the various antisocial and generally racist behaviour of the main thief, a guy called Aussie, who, by the way, is not the sharpest tool in the shed. He's actually left some of his docs online in a way that can be directly tied to the racist stuff he's done. Not going to share those docs, but that's remarkably stupid. If you're listening, Aussie, maybe take those down, bud. But anyway, towards the end of that video, I made a bit of an oopsie. I said that there hadn't been any more skins with stolen artwork since, and that's wrong. That's really wrong, and people were very quick to point me out on that. So I thought it might be an interesting idea to come back and have a look at all the other copyright breaches that have happened. Now, by my count, there's 6 other people who've got themselves caught out for stealing artwork, and I do have to wonder what their mentality is when they're busy pinching this stuff off deviant art, because by definition, your stolen artwork is going to be seen by millions of players, so, you know, somebody is probably going to notice, particularly if you straight up rip off someone's artwork, like the creator of the M4A4 Griffin did. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure this guy thought he was being really clever. He only traced the artwork, he didn't outright copy it, and then he even made this GIF to try and make it look like he hadn't ripped somebody else off. And when the original artist sent in his DMCA, the dude was ready for a fight. He sent off a counterclaim and was ready to defend his skins money, but one way or another, Valve apparently decided they weren't cool with things. It's not entirely clear what happened after the counterclaim, but what is clear is that Valve actually consider trace skins to be copyright infringement, so surprise surprise, they changed the artwork. And by the way, as the first major copyright controversy after the M4A4 Howl was made contraband, there was a lot of very excited investors convinced that the Griffin was going to be the next contraband skin, and some of them paid quite good money to get their hands on some Griffins, like this poor sod, who literally traded an M4A4 Howl for one. Now, Valve did not make the Griffin contraband. They just changed the artwork and left it as a restricted skin in the Vanguard collection. And some people weren't very happy about that. Take this guy for example, quote, "Great hypocrisy from Valve here. They admitted the copyright issue by updating it, but didn't want to set it as contraband. What it is, by definition." Well, you tell them, bud. Sorry to hear your Griffin investments didn't work out though. Anyway, going back to that statement by Valve, you'll notice how definite it is. Question: I made a cool sticker or weapon using a picture I found on the internet. Answer: that's not a question, that's copyright infringement. Even if you traced it, changed the colours or don't think anyone can tell, you don't own it and we can't ship it. This is a simple rule. Make your artwork from scratch. So it's a pretty clear rule, let's be honest. Valve want it to be nice and straightforward that you absolutely cannot use other people's artwork that you find on the internet. But the creator of the Griffin isn't the only person who was apparently too stupid for this simple rule. It also proved a bit too complicated for the creator of 2 other guns, the Frontside Misty and the Chantico's Fire. Now, this guy appears to have taken the "I don't think anyone else can tell" approach, because what they did was fairly subtle. So the Chantico's Fire is the clearest example. Essentially, they took this geometric pattern off a stock image site and overlaid the rest of the texture on it. Someone made this GIF so we can see the theft nice and clearly. Now, the Frontside Misty is a bit more subtle. It used this stock pattern, and if you look here, you can see it. It's quite subtle, but it is there. And this is artwork that you can use commercially if you're willing to pay a license fee. I couldn't figure out exactly how much it is, but this Reddit post claims it to be about $150 per artwork, and makes the obvious point that if he hasn't paid the fee, what he's doing is kind of illegal. Now, some people took real exception to this even being brought up. This guy down here claimed that just by mentioning the possibility that there could be a copyright breach, the first guy was nothing but a witch hunter spreading misinformation for some reason. A bit ironic now, given the artist clearly did not get a license for that art, because Valve proceeded to delete his workshop submissions and give the skins new textures. Although, not before there was a bit of a contraband hype first. Good old OP skins there. The irony here though is that the change to the textures is so subtle that most people probably don't even notice the difference. I can't help but think that the creator of these skins screwed himself out of a life-changing source of revenue for a very stupid reason. Now, with all three of these skins, the thief has taken the artwork off the internet in direct violation of Valve's instructions and then gotten caught. So the next guy we're going to look at, the creator of the Glock Warhawk, well, he decided he was going to get clever about things. He figured, well shit, if you can't steal artwork online, I'm going to steal some artwork in real life instead. Actually, I doubt he was thinking about it like that, but what he definitely did do was rip off this real-life Glock paint job. Same design, same colours, you can see what's happened. Some people did point out the odd deviation on the side of the gun, but most people weren't exactly convinced by that. As this guy put it, this only solidifies my opinion that they copied it. Anyone who makes a skin will tell you that replicating the design in Picture 1 is far more difficult than creating the design in Picture 2 because of how the Glock pattern is laid out when you're making the skin. Further establishes the fact that these are talent hacks who looked up YouTube tutorials and tried their best to copy the skin while not even putting in the required effort to do it properly. Harsh words, harsh words. Now, interestingly, the skin's design was never changed. The workshop page for the skin is gone, so Valve definitely took action against these guys, but the skin design remained the same, and I'm not exactly sure why, but my guess is that the original manufacturer probably decided they were fine with the design being used in Counter-Strike, so long as they were getting a check for it. I mean, these guys do literally paint guns for a living, so you can imagine they probably don't mind seeing their design used in a computer game. Anyway, it's not just weapons that have had stolen artwork over the years. There's been some incidents with stickers as well, in addition to the Howling Dawn sticker. Now, I definitely have to give credit to Sally23 for one of the most stupid and blatant pieces of thievery. They managed to get this sticker called Just Trolling accepted as part of the Community Sticker Series 4. The problem though is that they appear to have straight up ripped it off from an Australian bloke called Scott, aka Chronobreaker. And Reddit would waste no time crucifying them. Sally23 was dumb enough to let the world know their real name was Peter and they were from the Czech Republic, so it wasn't too hard to figure out they were a thief, a wrong name, wrong country, and if there was any ambiguity anyway, Peter very quickly got to work deleting his workshop submission. And then every other workshop submission he'd ever made because people started figuring out those all happened to have stolen artwork too. Now, fun fact about this whole theft was done so ineptly and so stupidly that the guy who first discovered it apparently did so just by reverse Google image searching it. Yes, apparently the original art was literally the first thing that came up. I don't know how Peter ever thought he was going to get away with that. Also, when the inevitable contraband hype broke, people pushed the value of the sticker from $2 to $14, which, as one commentator pointed out, was not exactly the best move. Quote, "Ha, poor souls, didn't they learn their lesson from the Griffin? Valve will change how it looks and it'll keep dropping." Well, that man was on the money because Valve did indeed just change the artwork to this piece of garbage and no one has given two shits about it ever since. And with that, we are up to our final item, the sticker Death Comes from the Community Sticker Capsule by a guy called Tutto. Now, the sticker on screen is not the original sticker, it's a Valve designed replacement. The original sticker looked like this, which is a bit of an issue when this artwork happens to exist, drawn by somebody who is definitely not Tutto. Now, according to this comment, Tutto said he had no idea what was going on and drew the art completely solo. Unfortunately for him, Valve wasn't quite so convinced. As you might notice from this workshop screenshot from the time, there is a big red band next to the sticker, but you know what's particularly funny about this entire thing? Well, Death Comes was added to the Community Sticker Capsule as a replacement sticker after the How debacle. Yep, that's right, this sticker was only added in the first place because of another copyright claim. There must have been some hardcore groaning in the Valve offices that week, so the sticker was redesigned and then, like most stickers, fell into complete irrelevancy, as did Tutto, who would have found that death came for his ability to ever add anything to the workshop ever again. But anyway, with that, we are pretty much done here. I didn't manage to get onto the fake DMCAs, I'll do that some other time, but before I go, I just want to talk about swap.gg briefly. So, swap.gg is a trading site. Obviously, it services multiple games and lets you trade your items instantly and at way cheaper rates than you'd pay on the Steam community market, especially if you add swap.gg to your name. There's also full support for the trade hold, so you can keep your item in reserve while the trade hold runs out, and you can also deposit in a bunch of different ways and get a 30% bonus while doing so. And by the way, this means you can essentially get items here at a discount, then go and sell them on the Steam community market and get a bonus to your Steam wallet. So pretty cool, check them out. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.